Right, so we are going to have a series of little talks, but it's all based around on this particular topic of vaccination, titre-testing, or just not bother. So without further ado, let's continue. And if there's any comments, please do comment below, and we'll be happy to answer any questions. So just a little bit about myself. I have qualified from the Royal Vet College in London in 2004, and I've got a certificate in small animal medicine. Interests includes acupuncture, exotics, and keyhole surgery. But you know, I am a vet. But more than that, I'm also a pet owner, a husband, a father, a salsa dancer, a roller skater, water polo player, and recently a capoeirista. So I'm just wanted to say that, you know, we're not just vets and the so-called member of publics or non-vets. We are also pet owners. Okay, today we're going to discuss a few different things. Vaccination. So there are a few different topics that we're going to cover in this series. So we're answering questions like what is immunity? What is vaccination? Why do we vaccinate? How often should we vaccinate? Which is a very good question. Vaccination concern. So let's discuss about immunity. So what is immunity? What does it mean? Immunity is the ability of an individual to resist infection or the action of certain toxins. Okay, there are different types of immunity. It can be classified into three different types, like inherited, where you get it in your genes from your parents, or it can be acquired naturally, how, you know, kids, they are told to, if they are eating dirt in the sandpit, you know, they can acquire that along the way, or if they are exposed to sort of viruses and bacteria with their friends, but they don't actually catch the disease itself, they are also acquiring a bit of immunity naturally. And they are also to be acquired artificially. That's why we talk about vaccinations, actually injecting something into the individual to induce immunity. So what is vaccination? It's artificially stimulated immunity. So the keyword being artificially stimulated. So it is artificial. It is not natural. It is actually something that we stimulate into the animal. And these are the different things that we can stimulate immunity for, like viruses, bacteria, protozoa, certain worms, toxoids, and even cancer. So the question of why should we vaccinate? Why vaccinate? Because the diseases that we are vaccinated against, they could be life-threatening, okay, which means that sometimes there actually isn't a cure. It is just prevention is the best treatment for that particular condition. Either that, or it can actually cause significant illness. So it's not just like getting a common cold, it's like vaccinating against, you know, in humans, against sort of smallpox and all the different sort of diseases. In dogs, we're talking about distemper, parvovirus, they can all cause quite significant illnesses. In these cases, prevention is better than treatment, or sometimes there actually is no treatment at all, and certainly it's more cost effective. Vaccinations may also protect both the individual and the population. So that's one thing that sometimes we forget, is that the reason that we vaccinate is not just for the particular individual animal. We're talking about herd health as well, the population of the animals in UK, or even as a further extension of the world. For example, it's like in UK there is actually no more rabies, so we don't really vaccinate against rabies. And most kennels and catteries, they do insist on animals being up to date with vaccinations prior to entering, which is quite important if you think of it. You bring your dog or your cat to a place where they're going to stay for potentially a couple of weeks. You like to know they're going to a safe environment without too much diseases inside there. So it's good to know that, you know, if the protocol for that location is that all animals has to be vaccinated against all these infectious diseases, you know your pet will be safe. So when we talk about vaccination guidelines, please bear in mind that I use the word guidelines and not instructions. So these are guidelines, these are not rules, these are not sort of a specific instructions or information leaflets or anything like that. They are just guidelines, okay? We've talked about core and non-core vaccines, which I'll elaborate in a bit. There are various guidelines available, so WSAVA, or the World Small Animal Vet Association, and other organizations, they have come up with their expert panels, different guidelines for what they feel a vaccination should be given, when it should be given, and what is it for. It's based on a mixture of opinion and evidence. So like I say again, it is not instructions, it is based on opinions and some evidence as well. It can be conflicting in some cases, like with regard to cat vaccines. Some of them may say that a particular vaccine may last a longer of time compared to another. So WSAVA guidelines are based on a world perspective and attempt to incorporate the minimum requirements necessary. So the three keywords over here is the last three words: minimum requirements necessary. I'll come back to that in a bit. So core vaccines, they are required by every dog or cat in order to protect them from life-threatening infectious diseases that remain prevalent throughout the world. So for example, in dogs, it will be a distemper, hepatitis, parvovirus. Examples of non-core vaccines would be things like leptospirosis or rabies. It's different. Okay. For cats, your core vaccines would be your flu and enteritis. Your non-core vaccine would be your chlamydia and things like that. Okay. So non-core vaccines, they're required only by those animals whose geographical location, local environment, and lifestyle places them at risk of contracting specific infections. Examples of that would be things like I said, rabies. If you're in UK, the likelihood for your dog getting rabies is very, very low, if not zero. But when you go abroad, that's where it's different. Or things like kennel cough. If you have got a dog that just goes up to the moors and goes walking on his own and is hardly ever seeing any other strange dogs, or dogs of an unknown vaccine origin, then the likelihood of them getting kennel cough is very, very low as well. For cats, example, if an indoor cat, a house cat, it's unlikely to see another cat. So things like feline leukemia virus would be possible but unlikely to get contracted because there is no interaction with other cats.